Hello, artists. Today we are going to be talking all about Jeff Koons. Now, this is a picture of Jeff Koons in one of his exhibits, and you'll see several of his sculptures around him. Now, sculptures are a type of 3D artwork. Sometimes they are small, but in this case, they're going to be pretty big. They can be made out of a variety of materials, but Jeff Koons specializes in using steel, stainless steel, and he polishes them up so they have a mirror-like surface. So that's why they are so shiny. Jeff Koons is an American artist. He's making art right now. His sculptures are considered pop art because they're inspired by everyday objects like balloon animals. Here you'll see a ballerina, a bouquet of flowers, again, everyday things. He lives and works in New York City and his hometown of York, Pennsylvania. So he works in both places. He travels for work. Here are a few of his playful sculptures. He's most well known for his balloon dog, and you'll see throughout this that he has several different colors of the balloon dog. So here you have the dog. If you look at the yellow animal, that's a bunny. And then the red one is a monkey. And I'm guessing you could probably guess the last one. The last one's a see on these sculptures how he leaves the details of an inflatable animal, like how you have where it's tied, and then at the very end where the air doesn't get all the way through. So they're very realistic, even though they are very large. Here are two more. So as you see, this is the balloon dog in orange, and then one titled The Rabbit. Jeff Koons's sculptures are very popular and wanted by many collectors around the world in different museums. He has many sculptures on display all around the world. And like I said, many people collect them as well. The rabbit, which you'll see right here, it is 3 foot tall and it's made out of stainless steel. And again, you see it has that polished look. So it looks kind of like a mirror. It is the most expensive sculpture to be sold at an auction by a living artist. It sold for $91.1 million. And then his balloon dog in orange is the third most expensive sculpture gone at auction by a living artist, and it sold for $58 million in 2013. That's just a fun fact. So again, his artwork is very well known in the art world, and he has his artwork on display in many different cities in the world. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to draw a balloon dog inspired by his sculptures. And we are going to be creating value with crayons today. And we're going to use those crayons to give our balloon dog that polished mirror-like surface. That way it looks more realistic, just like Jeff Koons' sculptures.
Okay, guys, so now we're going to get ready to draw a balloon dog inspired by Jeff Koons' sculptures. And then we're going to be creating value with a crayon so that we can give our balloon dog a polished mirror-like surface. Okay, so for this activity, you're going to need a piece of paper, a crayon. It could be any color. As you saw in the slides earlier, he has a blue dog, an orange dog. There's a red one, so I'm going to go with red, but you can choose whichever color you want. I would not recommend yellow, only because yellow is already a lighter color, so it's a little harder to show the value. But besides that, any color you'd like. And then I'm going to use a Sharpie, but you may want a pencil. Okay, so again, piece of paper, one crayon, and then a pencil or a Sharpie so you can trace. Okay, so what we're going to do is first we have to draw our balloon dog. And we're going to start with this curve right here. Okay, so I'm going to slide that over. I'm going to come over to my paper, and I'm going to do it over here. Notice it's not in the middle because my whole dog is going to fit on this paper. So I'm going to come over and start with that V-shaped curve. Okay, now I'm going to make an oval that touches those two parts. And just like Jeff Koons adds the details, I'm going to add the details for that balloon dog. Add a little curve here. So again, that's where you would tie it off at. Now I'm going to make an oval. Okay, I'm going to start here and go around and make a long oval. This is gonna be my dog's head. You ready? There we go. Now remember, if you want to use a pencil first, go ahead. And if at any time you need to pause the video or rewind, totally do that. Okay, now I'm not gonna draw the neck yet. I'm gonna move down, let's see, it's about 2 fingers for me. And I'm gonna draw an oval here. And I'm gonna turn it just a little bit. So it's not straight down, but turn just a little bit. You ready? There we go, so I've got my oval. Okay, now I'm gonna connect it with another oval. So I have the head, the neck, one leg. Now I'm gonna add the other leg. I'm gonna come over and add it right there. So you can kind of see how it's tucked behind the other leg. Okay, now we're gonna go in and we're gonna add the body, and then we'll add the legs, the tail, and the ear. Okay, so I'm gonna add an oval that kind of goes out right here. There we go. Okay, next, let's add the leg. So I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna add one here. And you want it to be the same length as the other one. And then just like I did here, I'm gonna come over and add that one back there. Okay. Next, I'm gonna add the tail with an oval. Here we go, and I'm gonna add that little detail where for some reason the air doesn't get all the way down there when they make balloon animals. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a line right here that goes up. And then I'm gonna take it over to make one oval, and then over the other way to make my other oval, and that will be the ears. 1, 2. Now again, if you need to pause it or rewind it, whatever you need to do. Now the last thing is I'm gonna add some little lines right here. That way it looks like he's really blown up. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my Sharpie away for a minute. I'll come back and add a background in a minute, but I wanna go ahead and get the color in there. So what I'm gonna do is I want to create value. Now value is an element of art, meaning it's one of the tools that artists use to create their artwork. And value means having the lightness or darkness of something. So I actually have one of these balloon dog. It's a ornament for my Christmas tree. And you can see how some of the parts on it are lighter, and then there's also some darker places. That is value. It's what takes things from looking flat, like a shape, and turning it into a form, a 3D object. So we're gonna do that with our balloon dog. Okay, so I'm gonna sit my little puppy down. I'm gonna take my crayon, and I'm gonna start with the head. I'm gonna start by making a dark spot here at the bottom. There we go. And then I'm gonna leave it white up here, but I'm just gonna kind of move my way up. Notice I'm coloring in one direction. As you change parts of your balloon dog, like move to different spots, you can change the direction. So I'm gonna go around at the top. I'm gonna leave that white. You see how I'm leaving that white oval there? And when I get to this spot, I'm coloring very lightly. There we go. So now I have a white, a medium, and a dark. Now I want to kind of smooth it a little bit more. So I'm going to take my crayon and kind of make another medium one here. And all I'm doing is pushing down a little bit harder with my crayon. And when you're doing this, you're creating value. Okay, so let's do it again. I'm going to move up to the ears this time. I'm gonna make my dark side on this side. So I'm gonna take my crayon nice and dark and heavy, draw a line. Let's do it again. Line. And like I said before, I'm gonna leave over here white. So I'm gonna move my way over. And remember, as you're doing this, you don't have to have a red dog. You could do yours a different color, okay? It does not have to be red. Leave an oval here. And even if you don't have that white oval, as long as you have one side that's darker and it gets lighter, it will help create your value. So see, I'm going in and making that medium one now. There we go. Okay, let's do it again. So going easy, not pressing down too hard. Then I'm gonna leave an oval in there. Nice and easy. And then like I said, I want to make a medium one here, so I'm gonna go back. There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing on the little detail. I'm gonna do a little dark line, lighter one here. And again, all I'm doing is adjusting how hard or how easy I push down, okay? It's all about the weight that you put on it. Okay, then I'll move to the next. Again, I'm gonna make a dark line. And I'm following that curve. I'm gonna leave a white oval here, okay? Fill it in. Nice and light. So like I did with the other one, I have my dark, my medium, and my white, and I want to make a kind of in-between one here. So again, I'm going to press down a little bit harder, kind of smooth that progression out. Okay, and you're just going to keep doing that the whole way through. So here, let's do another one. And if it helps you, you could always go ahead and do the dark spots. If that helps remind you, we can do it that way. But again, the key is to have one side dark and one side light where it kind of goes off to white. So again, if you want to go ahead and do that on yours and that helps, go for it. I'm even going to do it here and make that part a little sneaky and a little dark. Kind of move it over. There we go. Okay, so let's keep going. Leave white. Add my medium. And guys, one cool thing is a lot of times people think you can only create value with paint or pencils even. But this is one way you can do it just with crayons. And it really can take your coloring places. It can really add a lot to it just by doing this simple little technique. So that's something to remember in the future. And a little oval, do my medium. So now I've got my value that I've made with my crayon. That way my balloon dog has that polished look to it. So again, I've got the highlight and it goes to a darker value, just like I have here, highlight, and it moves over. That way I am creating a form instead of just a flat shape. So now I'm gonna pull my Sharpie back out. You again may wanna use your pencil, but I'm gonna go in and add a background. And I think I'm just gonna have the balloon dog colored. That way I have that emphasis on him. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna draw. Don't draw through your balloon dog, and go over and then stop and finish right there, okay? So I gotta kind of hop over his legs. You ready? Hop, hop. There we go. So now I have my ground right here. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add some bushes over here. That way it looks a little more realistic, kind of like it's in a park in the city. I'm gonna make a little fuzzy line, kind of bumpy. Add some little leafy texture there. Okay, let's do it again. There we go. And remember, don't draw through your dog. Leafy texture. There we go. Okay, let's do one over here too. Kind of bumpy line and leafy texture. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna start adding my city buildings. Now remember, your city buildings, they could use any kind of shape you want, but they're really just gonna be simple lines and simple geometric shapes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna go ahead and add one here. I'm gonna go up, over. Notice I didn't draw through my bushes, and I'm not gonna draw through my dog. I'm kind of using overlapping. That way I have that distance in here. I'm gonna add another one over here. And again, snap and hop over. So you see how the building is behind him. Let's see, I'm gonna add a long one. There we go. Gonna have him to hop over him. That way I have that overlapping. Let's do one that has a point on it. And then one that kind of goes off the paper. There we go. Okay, so again, I've got my bushes, I've got the ground, I've got my buildings, and now I'm just gonna spend the rest of the time adding some details. I'm gonna use some lines and shapes for my windows and doors. You could add a sign on there if you wanted. It's really your choice. But I'm gonna keep the background kind of simple, just so that my balloon dog is the emphasis. Emphasis is an art word for like the focal point where all of your attention goes. So I want all the attention on the value that I just made and my balloon dog. So I'm gonna kind of keep it simple back here. But remember, you are the artist. It's your choice what you do on there. Let's see this one. Let's do some long windows. There we go. Okay, so now I have my Jeff Koons balloon dog. I've created that value using my crayon, so that way my balloon dog has a form. It looks more 3D. Now when you're done, please remember to submit the exit ticket, and I'd love if you added a picture. That way I can check it out too.